Hey, I thought I would share with you today one of my favorite things to teach in US history. So if you get to teach that kind of like early American history with George Washington and Alexander Hamilton and Thomas Jefferson, you are really lucky because this is such a fun kind of concept to teach and such fun people to talk about. So I thought I would share with you my 5 favorite resources for teaching Hamilton and Jefferson. They're in no particular order, but I just thought I would give you a little bit of variety. The first thing I love is a completely free resource. You just have to make an account, but after that, then you can get all of their resources for free. The website is through Stanford University and it's called Reading Like a Historian. And so they actually have like a million really awesome resources there. They have all of these primary source documents and they give you some background about each category or each concept, and then they have really good like close reading questions. So if you maybe are being asked at your school to do a little bit more close reading or to use primary source documents a little bit more, but you're not really confident in it, this is a really good resource because it explains everything for you. It gives you amazing questions and everything is just kind of laid out for you. It's usually like a 2 to 3 day activity, but they are awesome. And the Hamilton and Jefferson one is especially good. So the document is one of Thomas Jefferson's letters to George Washington and then one of Alexander Hamilton's letters to George Washington, and they were both written right about the same time. Actually, they were written on the same exact day. That's one of the things that you notice when you do the sourcing. So the website has, all these steps for going through primary source documents. So you source it first, then you try and get the context. And basically, Hamilton and Jefferson are both complaining to George Washington about the other one and saying that he is like talking behind my back and trying to ruin my career and I'm not doing anything wrong. And they really try to put the blame on the other one. And you can tell from the context, even though we don't have George Washington's letter to them, that he wrote to them telling them like, this is really annoying, you guys need to stop, you need to quit causing divisions in my administration. So then they write him back and they're both like, oh no, it's not me actually. I mean, I will do anything to make peace, but it's not me, it's him. So the language is a little bit modified, but it's still, an old document and they write in, kind of a different way than we do now. But just because of the content of what's in the letters, middle schoolers totally identify with this. They understand, getting really upset when somebody talks about you behind your back and trying to get your side of the story out there. So it's really good for them and it gives them kind of a lot of confidence, I think, with dealing with primary source documents in the future because they do have success with this one. They're like, oh yeah, no, I totally get what he means. The questions that come with it are great and they require you to use quotes. So they'll say, for example, like, which letter sounds angrier? So they have to choose one and then list a quote. Like, I think that Jefferson is angrier or Hamilton is angrier because he said this. And so you have to pull out textual evidence from these letters. So I'll leave a link to this resource below. It is amazing. I love it. I love everything on that website, but this one in particular is really good. Okay, the next thing is not a free resource, but you could get a free 30-day trial or 60-day trial, I think. And then, if you have several email addresses, you could just get a free trial a couple times in a row. But I also think it's just worth signing up for. So I've mentioned this website before, but it's called flocabulary.com and it's for all content areas, but they have some really good history videos and they're always like a rap video. So the one for Alexander Hamilton and Thomas Jefferson is so funny. They have like a portrait of Hamilton and Jefferson and then they've kind of erased the mouth and like put somebody else's mouth in, so it's like the Hamilton portrait is talking to the Jefferson portrait. And they have like this rap battle back and forth and it really is actually a really good way to show like the views of Hamilton and the views of Jefferson. And I show this like on multiple days. I show it kind of at the beginning so that they start to get an understanding of the different views of Hamilton and Jefferson, and then kind of, maybe a few days later, they usually request it also. They're like, can we watch that rap again? So you kind of show it throughout and then the kids start to understand the rap a little bit better. And so by the time you're kind of at the end of this unit, they really get what they're talking about. Now this one's a little bit long. I actually usually don't show the entire thing right off the bat. It's like 5 minutes, but it really gets into Jefferson's presidency later. Like the second half of the song is Jefferson's presidency. So I actually just saved that. The next thing that we're gonna do is Jefferson's presidency. We kind of skip over Adams a little bit. So this video is kind of useful for like 2 different chapters. And I'll leave that link below. I think it's $8 a month for a subscription to Flocabulary, which I think is totally worth it. I also use it for my English classes, and it's like even more useful for my English classes. And a lot of the English videos come with like worksheets and stuff like that, or like little quiz activities they can do. But you can also just like request from your school, if they have like school site council money or something, that you get a school-wide subscription. So I've been pushing for that for a couple years actually. I think I'm gonna finally get it this year, but I think that all the teachers, especially at a middle school level, could really benefit from that website. Okay, the next one is also like a musical resource. I'm really into teaching with music if you ever possibly can. It is the Hamilton soundtrack. Now, if you haven't heard about this, this guy who's amazing, named Lin-Manuel Miranda, wrote the music for a Broadway musical called Hamilton, which is on Broadway right now. You cannot get tickets, and if you possibly could, the cheapest is like $700. It's insane. This musical is like blowing up. It's actually coming to LA in August 2017, so as soon as those tickets go on sale, I'm definitely getting one. And what's extra cool about it is that it's like a hip-hop musical, so most of it is in like rap form. So I'm gonna link all this below as well, but the first video that I usually show them, and this is kind of toward the beginning of the unit. Sorry, these resources aren't really in order. You can kind of put them wherever you want, but when I'm teaching about who Hamilton is, I use the video of Lin-Manuel Miranda performing one of the songs at the White House. And so there's a lyric version so that you can actually, see the lyrics a little bit better. For some of your EL students, you probably need to have that. But he doesn't really look like it, but it turns out once you watch the video, he's like an incredible rapper. The lyrics are amazing. They're so interesting. He does such a good job with this rap. It's actually from the perspective of Aaron Burr, who later shoots Alexander Hamilton, of course, and is Jefferson's vice president, so it just gets very scandalous. But it's such a good rap. Oh my gosh, my kids want to watch it every single day. We pretty much do watch it at the beginning of class every day while we're on this unit. And then while we're just like working, we do like interactive notebooks. So some days we just kind of have a work day where they're getting stuff done. So then I play the Hamilton soundtrack just from YouTube in the background. And it's so funny. Like they are just like working and they're kind of listening to the music in the background. And like when it comes up to the chorus, all of them at the same time are like, Alexander Hamilton. Da, 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 da. It's so funny. It's so cute. One of my students was like, oh my gosh, Mrs. Forbes, this is like everything that you love tied up into one thing: US history, rap, and Broadway musicals. I was like, I know, this is like my ultimate thing. Oh my gosh. So of course I even have the ringtone on my phone. I was like, I need this. And so this is just an extra tip, but it really helps to use your phone or whatever with a timer. Especially like for that first resource with the letters and the close reading questions and stuff, I give them a certain number of minutes to work on those questions, like with a group actually, usually. And it's too hard to like walk around and monitor like, okay, well like most people are done, but a few people aren't, but I think I'll just cut it off right here because we got to move on. Like I just use a timer and then I put it underneath my document camera so they can see how much time they have left and they have to stay on time. So anyway, I can use my ringtone song as like the thing that ends our time.
Alexander Hamilton, Alexander Hamilton. We are waiting in the wings for you. Never back down and ever glad to take your time. Alexander Hamilton, Alexander Hamilton. America sings for you. Will they know what you overcame? Will they know you broke the game? The world.
Anyway, that's like the full Broadway version of the song. It's so good. And so then when they hear that, then they know like time is up, and we always just listen to the song for a second. I also made a poster in my classroom. I should put it like on Snapchat of my favorite lyrics. And then I had a kid who is a really good artist. He doesn't do a lot of actual work, but he's always drawing. So I had him draw a little picture of Alexander Hamilton. And then I wrote a quote from this song. So it says, the $10 founding father without a father got a lot farther by working a lot harder, by being a lot smarter, by being a self-starter. And so they really like that line too. So we put that up on a poster. And this is just like the infinite resource. There's so much that you can get out of this. And oh my goodness, if you live like near New York City and you could ever get tickets and take your kids to see this musical, done. I mean, done. They would know like everything about Alexander Hamilton. When it comes to LA, I'm going to see if there's any way we could possibly take my students like next year, because it's so good. Anyway, I could talk about that for way too long. I love it. But the next thing that I also really like is a video on YouTube. It's the Crash Course US History series by John Green. I use these videos all the time, and they are free. They're just on YouTube. So the video that I like is called Where US Politics Came From. And again, this is kind of the reason why, you know, you teach Alexander Hamilton and Thomas Jefferson, kind of showing the roots of our two political parties. And so he does a really good job of explaining Hamilton and Jefferson's views. He also, in this video, goes a little bit into like Adams' presidency and talks a little about like the XYZ affair and stuff. And since I don't have a lot of time this year, we're trying to get through so much and then like go really deeply into primary source documents. That's all I'm doing for Adams. So they take film notes on this video and they can study from those. There's going to be a few questions on the test from that video, but that's how I teach Adams. I create my own film notes, which is really time consuming and annoying to do. So I don't know why I haven't done this before, but I'm going to put them up on my Teachers Pay Teachers site. It might take me a little while to get all of them up there, but I will definitely put this video's film notes up on my Teachers Pay Teachers site so that you can just click on the link below and go straight to that. And you know, it does take like an hour, maybe 2 hours to like sit there and watch the video, pause it, like make your own film notes. It is really a pain. So I'll put mine up for like $1, and then if you want to use that as a resource, then it's good to actually have them be taking notes or interacting with the video in some way. And one warning about his videos, John Green speaks super quickly. He talks so fast. Every time I oh my gosh, I reset the timer without realizing it. That scared the crap out of me. Okay. What was I saying? Oh yeah, he talks really fast. And so my students get a little bit like stressed by how quickly he talks. So every time we come to a line where he's gonna give us an answer, I always pause it and give them time to write it down, because otherwise they get like really stressed. Okay, resource number 5. I showed this book in my September favorites video, so I'll put that link below. It's called Adventure Tales in America. It's like this illustrated cartoon version kind of textbook that covers all of the beginning of US history, and it's such a good book. I love it. It doesn't really have worksheets or anything like that, but it just has really clear charts that are a lot more interesting to look at than the regular textbook. So I'll put a link to where you can get that book, and they have this really cool chart of what Federalists believed and what Republicans believed. And so it's like, you know, Hamilton and Jefferson at the top, and like these are their views, and then the people who agreed with one or the other kind of became Federalist or Republican. So what I have them do after we do this little activity with kind of comparing Federalists and Republicans is I have them decide, you know, if you lived in like 1795, would you be a Republican or a Federalist? And they always want to say like, well, I agree with a little bit of both. I would kind of be in the middle. I'm like, yes, but when you go to vote, like if I go to vote, you know, in November for one candidate or the other, I can't say like, well, I mean, I kind of like this person and I kind of like that person. I don't really agree with this, but I don't get to give an explanation with my vote. All I get to do is just vote for one side or the other. So that sort of helps them to realize like, oh man, I gotta make an actual decision. So they decide if they want to be a Republican or a Federalist, and then they have to write 5 complete sentences, like these are the reasons why, and so they can get the information straight from this cartoon thing. So like foreign policy wise, which side do you agree with? Just on the basic view of human nature, do you believe that people are selfish or that they're inherently good? Or do you believe, you know, that we should have a manufacturing economy or an agricultural economy? So they can go through and get actual evidence and then write really good, thoughtful, complete sentences about why they would choose one side or the other. So I think, of course, you'll have to supplement, if you used all those 5 things, you'd have to supplement a little bit with your textbook or whatever, and just also kind of get the basics about Hamilton and Jefferson and the context of what was going on. But you could base most of your unit on these 5 resources. So if you've got any other amazing Hamilton and Jefferson resources, please mention those below. I would love to see them. I love teaching this section, as you know. Or if you end up using any of these ones, let me know how you like it. I think they're so much fun in my class. So I'm actually entering this research competition. This is my last semester of graduate school, thank God, but it's also like my last semester to like get things on my resume and stuff. So at 11 o'clock tonight, I have to submit a proposal for this research competition that I'm gonna try and get into and then hopefully do well. If you win, you get $100. So I'm like, hey, I'll take $100, especially since I probably have to take a day off work to go compete. Anyway, that'll like even out the money. Anyway, as much as I love talking about Hamilton and Jefferson, now I'm gonna go do a little Virgin Islands research and figure out how I can make Rothschild Francis win me some money. Thank you so much for watching. I hope this brings in some new history teachers and gives you some new ideas and some new resources. I love talking about this stuff, so as often as I can make these types of videos, I will. I hope you're having a fantastic day, and I will see you in my next video. Bye.